Welcome back, viewers at home. We were all talking about social medias from the beginning, before the ad break, and now with my amazing guest, Zanele, who was born Batabile Fortunate Mguni, who is a creative social media strategist based in Johannesburg, South Africa. Now, she has a deep passion for digital creativity in her career as a freelancer in social media management and digital marketing. Now, she is a self-taught, but has also gained knowledge at the Boston Media House. Although financial challenges led her to leave her formal studies, Zanele turned adversity into opportunity. Now, from 2020, she found work from small businesses, personal brands, and media organizations. She joins me now to share her very remarkable journey on how she got to where she is right now. Zanele, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me.
Now, I read your bio and you were just moving and moving and moving, and the way the movie has been portrayed, it seemed quite unintentional, but you were like, you know what, I'm accepting of it. But I want to know from you, in terms of your transition from being a student to freelancing, how did that come to be, and how did that give you courage to say, actually, you know what, my calling is actually social media management?
All right, thank you. So growing up, I was that kid who was always on her phone, So each and every time my parents and my siblings are like, hey, you are always on your phone, you need to clean, But little did they know that one day I'd be where I am today because of my cell phone. So I went to Boston Media House to study media and journalism because I wanted to be a journalist, right? But I got there, and then during my second year, I faced financial strain, and then I had to drop out, It's not nice because I really wanted to be a journalist. That was my passion, Social media management was not even a thing then. It was not even in my mind, So then, fast forward, the following year, 2020, one of my friends, had a beauty salon. So she is a makeup artist, right? So, but she was struggling on social media. She couldn't get sales or exposure. So I came in and I was like, because I know I'm good with social media, I was able to grow my personal brand, right? So I was like, you know what, let me help you out and maybe let's see where this goes, And then I helped her out. She popped out. Her brand was exposed. Then she had people asking her about, okay, who's doing your social media? So that's how it started.
Oh, this is quite exciting. Now, for someone who sort of moved with whatever opportunity came at the time, I want to know from you, what would you say were the most significant hurdles in terms of, navigating the spaces, and how did you go about overcoming them?
Okay. Wow. So it was not easy because I'm from Pretoria, and opportunities that side are not as big as they are in Johannesburg, right? So I had to really work hard to expose myself, right? So what I'll do is I'd approach people via DMs or emails, right? Just to make sure that I'm known. I didn't know much about networking, when it comes to networking, it's easier for you to, get exposed, grow, and also get clients. But I used my personal page to get clients because I know my brand was mid-big. It was getting there. It was pretty much something, So I used that to get through my clients, get my business exposed, and yeah.
Now, Zanele, I see that you have a background in media, advertising, PR, as well as journalism. I want to know from you, how do you then go about leveraging some of these, expertise, if I can call them, in terms of, your approach to social media management as well as brand strategy?
Okay, before we get that, I just want to pass here. When I went to school, some of my modules were marketing and advertising, right? So I pleaded with them. I said, you know what? I don't think I'm interested in marketing and advertising. Is it possible that you take it out so that at least my fees can go down? But they said, no, they are compulsory, so it's not possible. Only to find out that those were one of the, subjects that I was excelling in. All right.
Wow.
Yes. So I was one of the top learners when it comes to marketing and advertising. How do I then use it now in my agency? Because I have an agency for digital marketing and influencer marketing called Broad and Define. So Obviously, if you are a social media manager, what clients are looking for, be it a personal or business brand, they are looking for exposure, right? So now, when it comes to advertising, there are a lot of things that you learn. The do's and don'ts of advertising. And this is what also I use. And then when it comes to PR, brands don't want to be only on social media. They want to be on screen. They want to be on billboards. They want to be on magazines. And also I use that as well to make sure that they get the right exposure on magazines and stuff, because my clients, especially my personal brand clients, they got featured in, magazines, they got featured in, these big brands like your ShopRite, your President, your Escort, So I compiled all those modules that I learned from Boston Media House just to make sure that also I get success from my clients.
Zanele, I want us to revisit your first project. I could be wrong. I believe your first project was with your friend who was a makeup artist, right? Yeah. From that experience, what would you say, what exactly did it teach you that allowed you to then now create that framework to say, okay, you know what, when I'm approaching someone or when I'm approaching a brand, these are the steps that I need to make sure I go through before, getting excited to this is the brand I'm working with and the results that come with it.
Okay. So what I learned is, clients are different, all right? But then with each and every client, you have to have a specific strategy, right? Because also with her, we had a strategy. Don't be just ordinary. That's what I used to tell her. So when we have like your holidays, like your Mother's Days or your Spring Days, I'll just say to her, do a crazy makeup, something out of the ordinary, all right? So that you can get exposure. So that's one of the most important things that I learned strategy, because then when I started with her, I knew nothing about strategy, but then I had to find a way for her to be unique from her competitors, right? So the most important thing that I learned from there, strategy.
Now, Zanele, with social media, it's always changing. Something is new to a point that I think even on social media, it's the sound that you use. It's the transitions that you implement. So with you, how do you actually make sure that you're up to date with all these changes and still be sane?
Social media is very much overwhelming. It can be overwhelming, especially if you have more than one client, right? Because we have trends, and this specific trend might not work for your other client, right? Hence, you have to be up to date each and every time. But social platforms like your LinkedIn, if you are someone who's looking for trends, you will get plugged because there's always a new trend, right? And you also have to be, spend your time on social media, be observant on, the new trends that are coming in. If there's a new song, there's a new trend. How is it going to help your other client, all right? So also going through, research. Each and every time you have to make sure that you read social media updates and news, because you want to, you want to be updated each and every time that, okay, there's something new, this is trending, this app is no longer, in use, there's this new one now. So yeah, I'd say LinkedIn. Make sure that you research, you read social media news, and make sure you're always on social media. I mean, if you're a social media person, you need to be on social media just to check those new trends that are coming in.
Now, Zanele, another thing is that you are a micro-influencer, and I believe you've grown your personal brand on social media. All in all, how do you make sure that your brand doesn't conflict with that of your, your clients' brands, as well as how does your personal experience influence the way you manage your clients?
Okay. So, when I started off, I was all about beauty and fashion in my personal page, right? So I used to, work with beauty brands just to make sure that I am exposed, right? But now, because I have an agency, I changed my niche a bit so that I can also accommodate, my clients and my business as well. So I'm no longer about your fashion, your beauty, but I speak social media also on, on my platforms, because we have what we call personal branding, right? Personal branding is very important. Before people trust you, you have to make sure that they trust the person behind that brand. They trust what you say, what you teach them. So each and every time I make sure that I have knowledgeable content about social media, how to manage your socials. So I don't think it's destructive to my clients or my company, because I make sure that it's aligned, and I also make sure that also it's a platform for them to also learn.
Now, for viewers watching tonight, and you know what, they've been trying and failing at the social media thing, and they're like, you know what, social media is not for me, or you get individuals who feel like they're in a wrong generation when it comes to social media. What words of advice would you sort of share with them tonight in terms of navigating the social media space, and how do you then allow or integrate social media to what you're doing, be you an organization, a personal brand, or a business at that matter?
Okay, so what you have to do is firstly understand your brand, right? You want to be as authentic as possible. Don't go in on social media trying to be someone, Just make sure that you are authentic, understand your niche, and also be direct and very strict with your niche. Serve quality content. Know what you want to talk about or, create content upon, and also know and understand your audience. Make research to say, okay, as an organization, this is what our audience is looking for. This is what they are about. And then you will see the success of your brand.
Zanele, you've made social media something that is quite, doable in the sense, because a lot of times we're like, social media is not for me, because maybe you're getting 1 likes and 0 likes and you feel like, it's speaking against me. But thank you so much, for coming in and sharing with us your journey and how you do it without giving too much of your secrets.
Yeah, of course, because I have an agency. So if people want to check that out, they can search Broadened Defined. And yeah, we are still busy with our website. So I believe if they do follow our socials on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on Instagram, they will see when our website is up and running. And also if they want to check out, trends, because we also update, our audience when there's a new trend. And we also give them tips on how to grow, also business people. So yeah, they can check that out, and it will be, part of the success of their brands.
Thank you so much, Zanele, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Viewers at home, that was Zanele sharing in her not too much of her secrets though, but tips on how you can navigate your social media. Be you an influencer, be you a personal brand, or just be you an organization, on how you can make it work by integrating, be it the social media trends or whatever it may be.